Brooke Taylor, who is reporting live from where we will get this breaking news in Gina, Louisiana. Those proceedings underway. Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Martha. Yeah, that hearing's been going on for about an hour right now, and it's pretty much a waiting game because there's no cameras or phones. We have another reporter who's been outside that ICE detention facility and said it's really chaos going inside that courtroom because over a dozen of his supporters showed up. They said they were there till 6 a.m. just demanding to get inside. Mahmoud Khalil has been held at this ICE detention facility here in Gina, Louisiana for about more than a month since he was arrested in New York City. The government arguing that Mahmoud Khalil should be deported under an immigration law that allows the Secretary of State to deport aliens considered a threat to U.S. foreign policy. Now, the Department of Homeland Security had to submit evidence proving this. In a two-page memo, Rubio argued that feds can deport Khalil for, quote, participating in anti-Semitic protests and disruptive activities, which fosters a hostile environment for Jewish students in the United States. Well, Khalil's attorneys, they claim this violates his freedom of speech.
Well, we try to establish that people like Mahmoud have a constitutional right to speak out in this country, and they should not be, the government should not be using this really bogus statute saying it's against U.S. foreign policy interests.
And the State Department has revoked over 300 student visas so far. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has said that student visas are a privilege. If you come into this country as a student, the government expects you to go to class and study, not vandalize campuses across the country. His supporters, Martha, they plan to hold a press conference around 3:30 Eastern time. Of course, that could change depending on when this hearing ends, but we're by our phones right now, just waiting for that update.
Okay, Brooke, we know you'll get it to us as soon as it comes through. With that, we bring in Jonathan Turley, constitutional attorney and Fox News contributor. Jonathan, always good to have you here. Now, the administration has made some sort of varying arguments on their reasoning to deport Khalil. What is your take on how the judge may be approaching this at this hour?
Well, the administration has not made it easy for this judge. I'm surprised by that two-page letter because there is a concrete basis to deport Khalil if you simply establish what was originally alleged, that he participated in a protest that involved property damage and trespass and other criminal acts. That's conduct. That doesn't go to the content of his speech, and they can clearly remove him for that. The letter instead focuses more on his views, and that's putting it in a very difficult light for this judge and balancing what are legitimate free speech concerns against the power of the administration. Now, where his counsel, I think, is going to have a hard time is, as you just heard, they said, we don't think this statute should be used. Well, the statute is going to be used, and this immigration judge is not going to say it can't be used. And that statute gives Secretary Rubio sweeping authority. And it's not clear how much a judge, let alone an immigration judge, can question the judgment of the Secretary of State underneath that statute once he's issued this type of declaration.
Yeah, you know, another thing that I was looking at today is the green card holder rights, because it's interesting that this ends up in the immigration court because the State Department has made the argument that they can remove him for conduct, as you just pointed out. Now, he's a green card holder. And he is here sort of, you know, at the permission of the United States government. But is anti-Semitism, promoting anti-Semitism on campus and essentially preventing Jewish students from their right to go to class, is that hate crime? And can hate crime be the issue here that could have him removed for his green card?
Well, that's an excellent question. And as you can tell in that language, there's a lot of subjectivity, which is what his counsel has said that should concern the court. And the letter says that this could be otherwise lawful conduct, but the secretary can still have you deported for it. I'm surprised by that framing because it makes me think that they're using this case to go for the three-point shot, that they want to use this case to establish strong precedent in other cases that will be based on not as developed records. So we'll have to see how this judge reacts to all of this. They did not produce the type of evidence that some of us were expecting, some concrete ties of what Khalil knew about and directed the protest itself, that after all resulted in citations, after all were unlawful. That seems the clearest and easiest basis. I think the administration wants to establish a broader principle here to say, you might not like this law, but it gives Secretary Rubio sweeping authority, and we just used it.
Yeah. So it sounds as if you're making the argument that the administration attorneys are almost overcharging and that they're shooting it for too much of an umbrella prosecution in a sense here, and that they would have been smarter. Well, we'll see what the judge decides, right? But just looking at it from as we wait for this to go much more pinpointly at conduct, anti-Semitism, potentially a hate crime to prevent Jewish students from feeling safe on the campus might have been a cleaner way to pursue this.
Right. They also have statements that they say were omitted or facts omitted from his original application. I tell my students in litigation all the time, the old adage, aim small, miss small. And this ain't that. I mean, that letter is basically saying we can deport people for otherwise lawful conduct if the secretary believes it is harmful or threatening to our national security. That's the whole Megillah, and they want to establish it. Maybe they view this as their strongest case to do so.
Maybe. We will see what the judge says, and it will set some sort of precedent here because they have a number of other students who they have also in the same position that they're hoping to remove based on basically violating their right to be in the country on a student visa or even in a green card on this case. Jonathan, thank you. Always great to see you.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll get you back if we get this decision.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.